What's up, YouTube? Back with another video. LA Mamba. It is Thursday, October 12th, 2023. It is 5 p.m. and we're closed for the day. Every Thursday we're closed. So what I did was I woke up late today and I went to my appointment when it came to always get massages. If you're in this business, if you're younger, you probably can get away with longer, but if you're older like me, you gotta go to specialty guys that know how to go real hard on your body and know how to straighten out your nerves, right? So like this guy, he's a specialty in nerve systems, like the nerves, like the real hard, like knots that you get in your body from walking a lot, from doing your work. And so I actually go about every 3 months. Yeah, like you have to like spend money on your body so they can be performing hard, so you can feel good. Not only that, guys, when it comes to pressure in the business, one, it is a lot of pressure when it comes to like working a lot, mounting tires all day and walking all day and organizing. A tire shop business is very physical. If you don't know that by now, then now you know, right? So it's a lot of heavy lifting when it comes to a lot of muscle usage. And you're tired, your muscles get tired, and then they become into knots sometimes. And when they become into knots, they like either like lose flexibility, or it gets too tight that it moves your joints a little bit, and that's enough to cause damage to your body. Example, if it's in the knee area, you can be walking crooked, and you will wear out your cartilage. I think that's what it is in between your bones. And then you'll be able to touch bone with bone, and everybody says that they have that in the past, or they had it and then they did an operation. They said it's very, very painful. So guys that have done a lot of like knee surgeries, 1 or 2 knees, and now after they do the surgery, they're like, oh, it feels great, I feel like another man, right? Well, it happens because one, your spine is like crooked, so you need to get it straightened out. I always go to chiropractors myself. I go about once a month now. It used to be once every week. I probably done over 130 sessions of chiropractic, lining up your spine and your shoulder blades, your hips. It all gets straightened out. And so like, you're able to be a little taller now, and then walk straighter, and also needs maintenance. So that's why I go once a month for the maintenance. So that's one thing that will really like mess up your joints when it comes to your knees if you're walking all day every day like we are. Number 2 is the nerves. If the nerves are like the ligaments are pulling your muscle one way because they have knots, and you're walking crooked, then that's also gonna wear out your knees. And then it's gonna be bone and bone, and then you're gonna need surgery. So it's very important that you do specialty types of massages. If you have pain all the time in your lower back, you gotta go to a chiropractor. If your calves are always tired, and you're just like, your muscles are always tired, you just can barely go home, and after work, and you just can't move, you're just so tired and barely have enough energy for the next day, then you gotta get a guy who massages off specialty in the nerves, and like the ligaments that like can go real hard on those knots and take them out. And once that knot comes out, by the way, it becomes very smooth. Like there's no more pain where the knot was at. And so, anyways, so that's what I do. I just want to share that with you guys. That is very important when you get older to do maintenance yourself like this. And I really learned a lot from Kobe, like as a youngster, like watching him play, like, and then when he's got older, and it's like pretty much the things he would say, and then also the things he would do. And when he got older, it wasn't about training. It was more about recovery. He spent much more time recovering than training. So he can be on the court. You know what I mean? It's different when you get older. And I saw that he would get into ice baths, and I'll do that with my legs, and it'll be great. When you put ice on like a bucket of water or something tall, like a container of water or something really tall, and then you put your feet in there for like 20 minutes, and when it comes out, man, it feels so good. All that, like, what is it called? That acid, it just goes away or something, and it just like it pretty much recuperates your legs faster, and the blood flow too to your legs. And it's very important, guys. Again, you're on your feet all day, every day. So, you know, these are the type of things you gotta learn and apply. And I feel great, guys, right now. You know, been in the business for so many years, and I just feel like I feel great. And it's all because of the recuperation I forced myself to do. And it's just like, now I'm gonna start trying to go every 2.5 months and shoot for 2 months, every 8 weeks, to get this type of massage. Because I noticed I don't want to be all in pain when I get there. I'd rather take little pains at a time every 2 months when you get massaged out than wait like 4 months and then like big pains, you're like crying and shit when they're going hard on the knots. But it's just you know, my preference. I just want to go more often and just feel great all the time. Anyway, so that's what I did today. And then I was on the phone with an investor that I learned from. So let me share a story to you about. I'm big into the meetups, and one day I learned that there was a local meetup in my city, and it was like, I have to go. I used to run a meetup myself in my city before the pandemic for real estate investing, and when the pandemic hit, you know, it shut down the restaurants and we couldn't do the meetups no more, and I just never opened back up. And so when I learned about a meetup in my city, I said I have to go, and I went. And so I went and I met people, and I brought my cousin, I brought my friend, I brought 2 friends, and it was a fun time. It was just like talk to different people and learn, and it was just a great time. But at this meetup, there was this guy talking about he owned 60 units. And I'm like, man, this guy's real ahead of me. I want to listen to what he has to say. And he just started talking about the loans. And he started talking about how he stretches them. And I'm like, what's this, right? And then so like, all right, I'm going to pay attention real close. He started talking about, you know, investing. And I was the one that was way more advanced than the people that were there listening to him. So I was asking all like the detailed questions, and he like was like, wow, you know a lot. He was like, you know, a lot of people, I can tell that you know a lot. Like a lot of people don't know like, you know, half of the things you're asking me about. And I was asking him real detailed questions about like, well, what about this and what about that? You know, just, you know, about all the aspects of what he's doing. And then so I got his number, and then after that, and it happens the coolest part is that he also grew up in my city and went to the same high school I went to, but he's just older, right? And that was so awesome. And I was like, man, I know this is something special is gonna happen from this. So I call him and ask him more details, and he'll tell me details about deals that he's done and how he did them and how he got the loans and all this stuff. And I was like so fascinated. Like, by the way, guys, at this point, this was this year, in the early this year, and by this point I had like 6 years going into real estate meetups. So at this point, I pretty much felt like I knew a lot about real estate investing, but I was learning a lot what like the little guys are doing and a lot what the big guys are doing. But there's like this one sweet spot that not a lot of people do, that since not a lot of people are doing it, it's not a lot of experience, and it's like, you know, people that are getting to like, you know, 10 units, 16 units, around that range, you know, usually it's like 4 and under, the majority, and it goes like to the real big apartments. But you're not really hearing a lot of stuff from the people who are doing like 20 units and like, you know, 7 units and like, you know, those type of properties. So when I met him and he was doing that kind of stuff, I was like, I know I'm gonna learn a lot from this guy. He's already been through a lot of steps in front of me. And so like, yeah, what I said, he just started telling me things, and I'm like, man, this is like new stuff to me. You know, I grew up in the business, you know, in the last 6 years, putting a lot of importance of, it's got a cash flow, it's got a, like, you gotta watch out with your expenses, and your rehabs, you wanna like do specific things to the rehabs. And so that's the kind of stuff I was like, you know, actually doing on my own also, on my stuff. But yeah, I just started learning so much things from that guy. I was like, man, like, how come no one ever says these things? Like, I've never heard these things. And then there's this and there's that, and I'm like, man, this is like a whole nother world that is like right in the middle that no one like really is in. Which I wanted to go this route, by the way, because I want to use my money. I don't want to syndicate, not now, maybe later in the future. And then I don't want to be buying, you know, small multifamily forever, 1 to 4 units. I want to be in the 5 and up category, you know, multifamily, commercial loans, DSCR loans, portfolio loans, wrap loans. That's the kind of stuff, you know, he started talking about, and I was like, tell me more. So made a friendship, and we started, you know, I will call him and ask him more questions, and now this, and now that, and then now what about this? And at the time, I was selling one of my properties and was gonna go bigger, and I was asking about, hey, you know, this, do you know that, and do you know someone for this, and you know someone for that? And yeah, every time he just, you know, he was legit. Everything he was saying, just legit. I will use his loan guy that he recommended. I will use like his contacts for like repairs over there at the city. And it just kept going like that. It was like, man, this guy's like a few steps ahead of me. You know, like I wouldn't say many steps ahead. I just didn't know that there was those steps I had to take. And all it was like, yeah, it's like he had much more money than me and more property and all that, but when it comes to like the process of like buying and doing certain things, it was just like hidden information that I never heard about. And one of the big ones I explained to you in the past was about return on equity. And if you guys didn't see my other videos, I'll explain to you right now. Return on equity is a whole different mindset, and it's completely different math from return on investment. So return on investment is like this. If you have a property that's cash flowing compared to how much mortgage you're paying, then it's like and how much money did he put down? Then you do your math on, okay, I put this much money down, and this is what is cash flowing, and this is what the mortgage is, and I'm making a little money every month, and that's it, right? That's just, those are the numbers. How much money you put down, how much is the mortgage, and how much is the cash flowing, and that little spread is where you make your money. And that's what I known for, like, you know, I knew it perfect, but then I didn't know the next part of the equation, because no one ever talked about the next part of the equation, which is return on equity, right? So it's different because you want to watch your spending on the rehabs. You want to watch your spending on the expenses per month, because every time you like do expenses, just getting lower, or negative. And in the month, you're gonna be paying that mortgage, right? So you have a few repairs, there goes your money, and you're losing like negative $500 for the month in cash flow. And it was like that, and I was like, you know what? I never really mind about that. I always okay, if I keep properties for many years, or I exchange them into like bigger stuff, it's gonna be well worth it when I'm paying in that little negative month or whatever. It's no big deal, right? But I always have my mind in years. Like my mind was like, okay, if I buy a 2-unit or 4-unit or whatever, or 6-unit or whatever, it's gonna like, with years, it's gonna appreciate a lot. Every single month I'm making money, so like, you know, every single minute of every single month, all year long, if you have money in real estate, your money's making money, because you're making money while you sleep. It's like it's non-stop making money. So that was my mentality. Hey, if I make money, I'm gonna shoot it to real estate, and there you go. My money's just growing and growing and growing, and I got cash flow and all that. It's beautiful, right? I mean, that's what I known until I met this guy. And so now, like, what I learned was, that's cool, and you can snowball that, buy more properties like that, and you can refi and buy another property like that. But you're gonna make big money on the return on equity. And so what's return on equity is pretty much whatever money you have invested, whatever money is cash flowing, this doesn't matter. You're going to force appreciation on these properties by raising the rents and doing improvements on the properties, or making additions, or making ADUs on the property, and the value is just gonna go like this, right? So now the equity is gonna grow, and so like, yeah, it's still gonna cash flow, of course. Like, you know, the main goal is to make it cash flow just to begin with it, because the banks are not gonna lend you money on a commercial deal that's not gonna cash flow. I mean, some might take a risk like that, but like 90% are not. 90% want an established business, rents are coming in, you know, that business of rents are coming in as rentals. That's what they look at, the contracts. You know, we're gonna lend this investor money to buy this. I feel confident investing in this investor. Let him do all the work. We just get a monthly check every single month of what we rent. We lend our money, and we can do that. A whole bunch of investors like that and make money all month, every month. Because there's people that got the money like that. There's banks that do got money like that. So, of course they do, right? That's what they're the banks. But, so as an investor, it's like, okay, like, it doesn't really matter how much money you rehab. It doesn't really much matter, like, if you have negative cash flow. You can do cash for keys, evictions. We got to get these people out and to bring out market rents, get a better tenant that's gonna be paying more, and all the other ones continue to raise the rents every single year. And because of that, the cash flow is gonna grow. And because the cash flow grows, when it comes to 5-unit up, that's how you value properties, by the income. Then that means you're going to increase the value of the property. And so now if you increase the value of your property, now you have options. Now you can sell that and buy a bigger one with paying no taxes. So it's like 1031 exchange. So if you saw my last video, I explained the 1031 exchange means when you sell a property, you have your equity, and then that money goes from here to a bank account. That property's gone, you have a bank account, and then you have a limited time window of days of what property you're gonna buy. You gotta get the loan for it, and it's like, okay, let's go. Down payment, loan, all that money goes in here. 1031 is gone, that account is gone. You have a new property now. You didn't pay no taxes in the whole way. If you do everything the right way, like there's little things you got to do here and there to meet qualifications, but it's all about going bigger, right? It's all about going bigger, exchanging bigger. So So now if you have equity, now you can exchange and buy another property. If you want to keep that same one, you can pull money out. If you want to keep it and not do nothing, then you can just refi it and pull money out that way also. The other way was a second loan. The other way I just told you right now is a refi. Or you can just, if you want to do nothing and just cash flow, which is like the old school way, where I just told you the first way, return on investment, is all you do is when the time's up, the 5 years are up, you just refi it again for another 5 years. And now you're going to have even bigger cash flow. You have like a lower interest rate. Like you just, especially right now, if you bought the last 2 years or last year and a half, interest rate went up. So like, by then, like 5 years or 4 years or 3 years, your interest rate is going to be lower. So then you're going to be cash flowing even more because your payment is less, right? But the point is you have options. And so like, he was telling me like these things, and I was like, all of that shit makes fucking sense. He's like, I want to get bigger. I want to use other people's money. I want cash flow, and I want more properties. Let's learn how to do this. So then like I started learning more and more from him, and it was like, wow, like this is like unbelievable stuff, right? And it was like, man, this is kind of like, I wish more people were talking about this, and I want to share it with you guys. On my channel, I tell you, about the real estate stuff, and the story continues. Right, here we go. So now it's like, okay, so like, if you have equity, you pull it, and that's what I'm working on right now. And then it's like, okay, so what's next? It's like, all right, well, check it out. Like, you gotta find, if you're more advanced, off-market properties, right? And so like, all right, so like, again, going to a meetup, meeting people, you meet somebody that has properties, and one day they're gonna want to sell, right? And so like, it's always good to like keep in touch and all that. So again, I know somebody that has a property exactly for what I'm looking for, which is in the area I want to buy at, in the price range of what I can afford, which is whatever the banks will lend me is my price range of what I can afford, right? That's pretty much the whole thing, is you're stretching your money. And so like, it's just like, all right, well, time goes on and you're just like learning about things, and it's like, okay, I've been buying properties here and there, and it's like, all right, well, I have a good base, a good foundation, but I want to go up, right? I want to go up like to like, okay, my money gets all tied up, and then now what, right? So then you're like, all right, well, you got to figure out ways of pulling money and leveraging. So now just learning through this guy, he's been teaching me about portfolio loans and about wraps. And it's like, man, like the way he did his, the last deal or 2 deals ago, or actually the 2 deals ago, they did the same thing on both properties, was wraps. And so like, oh man, like, dude, like this guy's like just teaching me so much things, and like I'm learning so much, and it's like, well, how does that benefit me? How can I do that for my own life? And so like, all right, I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna try going more aggressive. And it's like, okay, I'm gonna get a loan for my property and then try to leverage everything I have. And so I found a freaking property that is just a beautiful freaking, like a perfect deal, man. It's like, it has everything I want. The problem is, it's a little bit out of my league when it comes to the price, because it's a pretty big property. I believe it's like 16 or 17 units. For the amount of money that I have, it's just a little bit out of my reach. But then because I've been learning about this stuff and talking to him, and then I go to my lender and I tell him, hey, you know what, is there a way for me to buy this property if we do like wrap, or we do a portfolio loan? I open up my, what I have, what I own, you can leverage anything you want here. And this is what I got, how much I got down, and and I have my reserve money, and you know, this is what I want to buy. This is exactly what I'm looking for. If I leverage everything with my down, my reserves, and you know, can I make a portfolio loan with like my properties in that city already, and plus that new one, so it would be all wrapped up into one loan, and get the value based on that, get the value based on the income, right? And he was like, there's probably something we can do. I gotta investigate, but you know, based on what you own and everything that you have, I think we can make it happen. But you know, we're gonna get more details. We gotta get more details. And I said, okay, great. I'm gonna get you the information of the property. I'm gonna get you information of the rent rolls, and so the income, and then the market rents. So the people, you know, my projection of what I can do with the property in the next few years. I can give you everything like that. So then I'm acquiring that information now. I'm just waiting for the guy I met at a meetup to give me the information on his property that he's interested in selling, so I can forward it to my loan guy, and he can crunch numbers of if I can actually do this deal. Of course, I'm still pretty far away from that day. I'm talking about, you know, 2 months from now to be in escrow for something like that, a month and a half. But it's very good. It's a very good way to handle things, is start now and just start feeding the information to the lender, getting all this information of what he's gonna need for the loan package. And he can look for options. He can look for products, or he can look for investors that will want to be in something like this. And again, the whole point of getting this property is to make money, right? To make cash flow and to make appreciation. But most importantly, the coolest thing is that if I'm able to leverage so hard, then that means I'm able to not put a lot of money down compared to the conventional way. And the bad side about this is this, that there's risk involved, that there's risk that the money's gonna cost me pretty high. So the money's gonna be expensive. And the risk is, if I lose that property, I would lose everything that I own tied to that property to pay off that debt. And so there is risk. If you know, you gotta know. But again, if you're gonna be doing this kind of stuff, you gotta be knowing what you're gonna do, how to do the business, and so like if you know what you're doing, then you minimize your risk by a ton, right? And so like, but if you're really well prepared, if you have like multiple streams of income, like we talk about this channel, then you're able to do this kind of stuff, which is really cool. And it's because like the banks, people are willing to lend money like that, but it's gonna be cross collateralized by your current assets, right? So this is just like an advanced talk about what you can do in real estate investing, because this property I'm talking about, it's in the $2.1 million range, right? So that's like, if I were to do something, that would be my biggest acquisition yet. And not only that, it will be my lowest amount of money I would put down, and it will be my most creative way of acquiring the property that I've ever done in my life. And pretty much how anybody has like ever put deals together, it's a very special situation. It's not something like a lot of people do or would do, because again, most people are either syndicating, going like for those 200-300 unit properties that they get a lot of investor money together, they pull funds together, and then they purchase a big property like that. Or the people are flipping homes and doing the one house and doing the ADUs, right? Or the 1 to 4 unit guys, which I was for many years. You know, just going that route. Just every time you have money, you would get it for down payment and buy another property, which is great. But again, I learned this stuff very recently, guys. I've rarely read this year only. This pretty much put it like that. But I was able to like learn it so quickly because I already had a ton of foundation of knowledge from all the years of real estate investing, of knowing like hundreds of investors and talking to like thousands of people, and for years myself investing my own money, that it came down to like when this one person that came into my life and just changed it forever, which I'm very grateful for. I learned so much from him that I'm able to like, you know, find new ways of acquiring property with already what you have and without being stuck for years. It will just fast forward your journey in real estate investing, which means if you have acquisitions of property earlier, then you can make money sooner rather than later. So it's very, very exciting times for me. And again, this is all very new to me also, so I'm also very much learning myself. But it just comes to show you that what the power of real estate does, and you can't really do that with a lot of other things. I don't know if you can do cross collateralizations like that with business. Maybe you can. I just never heard about them. When it comes to like putting two businesses together and buy another one or something like that, that has nothing to do with each other. But the point is, like, maybe you can, and I haven't, you know, built many businesses like that to find out about that. But the point is, like, when it comes to real estate, you can do that, because first of all, it's very safe. You know, the building is not going nowhere. They're not building more of it in that same area. They're just like, you know, it's in the same spot. You can only build one right there, and that's it, right? So when you take title, it's like very safe. You got a country that has like this court system that's very respected. If you cheat anybody or something that out of money legally, then you can get it back. In this case, if I don't pay my mortgage, then they can get the property back, get their money back. So it's very safe for them to invest and lend money on properties. It's a very safe investment. You can't say that about stocks. You can't say that about cryptos. Go to any bank and ask, hey, can I borrow money to buy crypto or coins or whatever it is? What is it, NFTs or stocks? Can I borrow money to buy stocks? Pretty much all these banks are going to say no. But if you go to the banks and say, hey, can I borrow money to buy real estate? They'll be like, all right, let's see how much money you got, you know. Let's see how much down payment you got, my boy. But yeah, so I mean, it just again, tire shop business. If you're gonna be in the tire shop business, you gotta be learning about the real estate business also, because later on you can do some really cool things and have extra cash flow and build equity. Most importantly, build a lot of equity, and that's how you can become a multi-millionaire, millionaire and multi-millionaire, is by the real estate business. And it can all start from 1,000 square foot garage selling tires. Like, I'll just show you the garage. That's the garage right there, and that is 1,000 square feet in there. So yeah, all started from a 1,000 square foot garage. You can do some really cool stuff if you're you know, learning and growing. And just, you know, I'm trying to, like, you know, people that are on the fence about real estate investing and learning about it, I'm trying to, like, you know, push you over the fence and be like, that is the right way to go. Even if you, like, have no money at the moment and you're like, man, this is gonna take forever to learn. Let me tell you guys, it comes a lot faster than you think. I remember 1 year passed by and I only saved $1,000 to my name. Yeah, Mr. Ali Mamba only saved $1,000 in 1 full year. And so you gotta think, like, man, like, you know, I feel if I can do it, then anybody can do it. And I know everybody always says that, but man, like, you gotta think about, like, you only have like $1,000 in your name, like in your bank account, 1,000. A full year goes by and you still have 1,000, and it's like, yeah, money came and left that whole year, you know, expenses and stuff like that. But like, man, like a full year, I wasn't even able to, or I saved 1,000, or like or something like that. I had like 1,000, and in a full year I saved another 1,000, and it was like, you know, in 1 year I saved 1,000. That's how it was. It wasn't I saved. So like it was like I had 1,000 and I saved another 1,000 for 1 year. So in the end of the 1 year I had $2,000 in my bank account, something like that. I mean, it's not funny at the time when you're like going through it, right? But you know, I was younger. You know, I was in my 20s. You know, but you know, I wasn't always like this, man. Like I'm telling you, like I just feel like little by little you grow in the business. You buy that one set of tires, it grows to 2, 2 for 4, 4 to 16 sets, 16 to 32, that's 32 to 64 sets, and it just keeps growing and growing, and it's like, that's how your wealth should be, right? It should be multiplying and stuff. You can multiply your wealth by real estate. You multiply your wealth with real estate. You can do addition with the tire shop business, and you can multiply your sets, your tire sets, in the business. But when it comes to the, you know, the real money, like when you talk about like, man, I made like hundreds of thousands in this year or whatever, and it came from real estate, and it's like, damn, like that's a whole different story. But it starts really small, but you just gotta grow it, learn more, and then later on you're able to do some cool things. Like, man, banks are really wanting to lend you money for properties. I'm gonna freaking take it, right? I'm gonna take that money from the banks and make it grow. All right, guys, so I'm gonna let you guys go, and we'll see you guys next time. Mamba out.